Hello everybody and welcome back to the Traitors Australia Season 1 Episode 2, and today we are going to be talking all things Traitors and Faithful. And I gotta say, this season is really heating up, and it's also got so many different interesting characters that I'm fascinated to see how this works out, because genuinely this episode had me on the edge of my seat, and I was really excited to sort of get into it and start talking about it. So yeah, without much further ado, let's get started with the episode. Before we get into the video, I am just going to let you guys know a rough plan for my week leading up to Monday. I'm away this weekend, so I'm trying to make sure that I get as many videos out as possible over that weekend. And obviously Monday is the Celebrity Big Brother launch show, and I'm hopefully going to be there in person. So make sure to watch out on your TVs for me. If I get on camera, I might not. But if I do, look out for me. Yeah, tweet me if you do see me. That would be quite funny. But what I wanted to actually talk about was the fact that we are going to have to get to 700 subscribers. Come on, guys. Come on. You guys are doing a fantastic job so far, and you gotta keep driving away. I've got Married at First Sight Australia coming out. That season is juicy. If you're not watching it, you need to be watching it, because when I tell you, it had me shocked, appalled, and then crying just within the first episode. So a video will be coming out tomorrow on that. Apprentice, we've also got Apprentice coming, and then hopefully 2 or 3 episodes of the Traitors over the weekend, and then it'll be kind of periodic when I can, when it comes to Celebrity Big Brother. So if you guys are enjoying, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well, and let's get on with the video, shall we? So we're going to start with breakfast, and Teresa was the first person in. Teresa is an absolute icon, because she said, I don't fucking care who's gone home, I just want my food. And I thought, absolutely fair and valid. I won't lie, me too. Those hash browns look beautiful. The bacon and eggs looks beautiful. I don't know what's going on in the like UK version, and I think the US version, but like, who cares about pastries and fruit at breakfast? I want hot stuff. I want cooked stuff. Give me some actual food, not this sort of like patisserie rubbish. Come on. Anyway, Teresa and Mark were basically saying that they think it might be Claire and Ethan, and they're going to sort of keep an eye out for those with each other. Mark seems quite certain that it is Claire, which I think is a little bit worrying, and we'll see how that pans out throughout the episode. But yeah, he does seem quite certain that it is Claire, because of the way that she was behaving after the traitors were picked, and also the way she was behaving in the round table in the last episode. Dirk was saying that MK keeps smirking, and then MK walked in and did another, guys, I just, hang on, let me get the Australian accent. Guys, I just need you to listen to me for just a couple of seconds, and I am just here to tell you that I am a faithful, and I'm here on Team Faithful, and I'm here to help find the traitors, and I'm going to help you guys, but you guys can't vote me out, because as I've said before, I am a faithful, and you got to trust me on that, because I'm a criminal defence lawyer, and I have worked in the police force before that, so you know you can trust me. I'm the most trustworthy person here, and I won't take up too much more of your time. I'm going to finish off there, and yeah, we're done. Thank you. I was like, what on earth is going on? The second morning in a row that this Donny has come in and been like, I'm a faithful, please don't kill me. What? And like, other people are starting to think like, is he just like playing a really weird game, or is he just overcompensating? Because like, it does really feel like he's overcompensating, and a little bit orcs, don't you think? So Sandra was the one that got killed, sadly. Chloe walked in. I think this was a good move. It hasn't linked it back to anybody as of yet, and I think it's also smart to get someone that was so vocal at the round table out before she could start connecting dots. She was a target on night 1, a target on night 2, so I think this was definitely a good second move from the traitors. But then Chloe was like, I'm seeing a vision. We need to jump on a train. And Mitty was just sort of like, well, we saw from last night how, like, we can't exactly trust her judgment, or whatever. And Chloe's an interesting one, because we're going to be talking a lot about Chloe throughout this episode, because Chloe made a couple of predictions, and we're gonna dive into them, see how we feel about them. But at the moment, it was a little bit weird, I gotta say, just a tad weird. So we're going to talk about the mission, and the mission involved a train. So immediately I was like, did Chloe pick up on that from what Roger said? Or is she actually, like, a clairvoyant? Like, that's just a bit weird. It was just a little bit too, sort of, too specific for me to be like, that's a bit odd. But Chloe was basically like, I've seen the way, like, I've seen what groups we need to be in order to win this. And, like, the way I've seen it, she was almost like fucking Doctor Strange, when Doctor Strange was like, I've seen 1,000 outcomes and this is the only one in which we win. Like, that's what it felt like. And it was just a bit weird and a bit off. But everyone kind of ignored her and went in their own groups. And it kind of, yeah, it didn't really help the group's case against Chloe, because they ended up losing all the money. Because the idea was the first group had to find a passenger code or, like, ticket number in a manifesto. Then the next group had to find the ticket number to find the seat number. Then the third one had to find the seat numbers, do some maths, and then find out what the combination was for the luggage. And then the last group had to find the keys within the pile of luggage. It was a fairly complicated task, but also a fairly simplistic task. And the bit that took the longest was sorting through all the tickets. I don't think they had a particularly good method. It took them a while just to look through some tickets, which I was like, bit of a letdown, I won't lie. And then when I tell you they missed by like 5 seconds, because they then had a key chain that just had like 100 keys on it, and they were like, fuck. And then when the task was over, Chloe was basically like, if you'd have listened to me, Mark was meant to be the one that put the key in, and that means we would have won. But because Mark was in a different section of the train, we didn't win, and therefore that's why we lost. And I sat there and I was like, is Chloe onto something? Like, am I missing something here? Because, like, what's going on is what I want to know. What's going on? Because this isn't normal. This isn't okay. Yeah, some spooky stuff is definitely going on, I gotta say. So it's time to talk about some suspicions now. What's been happening? What's been going on? Well, MK is trying really hard to defend himself. I think he knows the writing's on the wall. He's really desperately trying to be like, guys, it's not me. Please. And then he's bringing up Olivia whilst talking to Nigel. He's like, I don't trust the whole Jack story. And Nigel's like, yeah, I kind of agree with you, actually. I feel like there's something dodgy going on there. But Nigel is obviously a traitor and is actively working to get MK out. And it seems like the whole group is very much focused on the fact that it is MK. And I gotta say, it's weird, because I don't think that he's done anything that's ridiculously traitorish. And I feel like I really hate when they're like, oh, he's overcompensating by being a faithful. I don't think a traitor would be so vocal at the breakfast table about the fact that he's a faithful. I don't think a traitor would do that, because then the limelight's on them, and then you end up in this situation where everyone's suspicious of you. I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd be like, I don't think it's MK, because the double bluff is rubbish. If that is sort of like a double bluff in the fact that he's saying he's a faithful but he's actually a traitor, or is that just a bluff? Would a double bluff be if he was a traitor saying he was a faithful, and then people thought he was faithful because he couldn't be a traitor because of that? I don't know. My brain hurts now. But it does just seem like there's really poor evidence against him, just like with Jack yesterday with the stupid rumor, and then also with like Midi and the fact that he's just said one thing. The problem with this game is you can't take people's words literally, because like we saw at the start of episode 1 of Australia season 2 when Sarah accidentally said, "Oh, we've got to murder her tonight," and about Ash, and everyone's like, "Murder?" And she went, "I mean banish." Like, it's just a slip of the tongue. It doesn't prove that you're a traitor. I think traitors would be more careful than that. They'd be more careful about everything they're saying. But that's just my opinion. That's just how I view the matter. Moving on, Mark is bringing up the fact that he thinks it's Claire because of the way her body language has changed and the way that she's started, she seems really, really nervous. Everyone is also really, really suspicious of the fact that they don't think that she just works in a supermarket. She does just work in a supermarket, but it seems like there's like other sort of layers to her that we haven't quite uncovered yet, which I'm very interested to learn about. But Justine was basically backing Claire and being like, "I don't think it's Claire," and then went and filled Claire in, being like, "Yo, people are saying your name, just want you to be prepared because I don't think it's you, but other people are saying it might be you, and I just want you to be prepared for the round table." It's weird when I'm like quoting them, I actually slip into like a slight Australian accent. It's a little bit weird. But the last thing I want to talk about, Chloe's psychic abilities, because she's like, "I know who the traitors are. I know who they are." And then they were like, "Oh, go on, who do you think they are?" And she was like, "I'll wait until the round table. I don't want the traitors to hear and have a chance to defend themselves. Like, I want to see their faces at the round table." I was like, "Okay, alright, okay. I see how it is. Cool. Right." And then we go into the round table and I was like, "Oh, right. So really, the suspicion is between MK, Claire and Chloe, because those are the 3 names that have been circulating. Seems like Midi's escaped sort of his sort of spotlight, I guess, of like suspicion. Same with Olivia, kind of. But it seems like those 3, the triangle. It's going to be an interesting one. But let's get into the round table, shall we? So, the round table started with Nigel bringing up MK, saying he's got a lot of nervous tension, and it really does seem suspicious considering his job is a criminal defense lawyer. He's having to defend people in court, and he also has to... He also has a history in the police. So all of this nervous energy, all this nervous tension just doesn't seem to add up. And I was like, okay. But if you feel like your game is at risk, you're going to be nervous. So that's not necessarily an indictment of him being a traitor, because I feel like if he was a traitor, he'd have a better handle on his nerves. It's really the people who are holding themselves together and holding their nerves that you really need to be looking at, like Nigel. But they won't. Maria was like, "You keep saying I'm not a traitor. Are you overcompensating? And if you're not a traitor, who do you think the traitors are?" And then he just kind of got a little bit like and didn't really want to say anything. And I was like, what's going on here? MK, just throw a name out. You're literally a criminal defense lawyer. Defend yourself. What's going on here? I can't be the only one that thought that. Surely. And then finally he goes, "I think it might be Claire." And I was like, of all the people to jump on Claire, when you literally mentioned Olivia to Nigel earlier, you could have really piled it on Olivia and been like, "Yo, it might be Olivia because she was clearly lying about the Jack story. What's going on here?" And then Mark started hopping on the Claire idea, being like, "You were you looked really freaked out after the traitors were chosen. Could that be because you're a traitor?" And Claire was like, "The reason why I was freaked out after that meeting was because someone was going to get murdered tonight, and I didn't want to be the first one. I didn't come all this way to just lose at the first hurdle. I really was worried that I was going to get murdered because I was quiet, because I was kind of fading into the background. I was genuinely concerned. And then she was like, I don't feel like I could be a traitor because I'm horrific at lying, etc., etc. She was just spinning a yarn. And I was like, wow. She defended herself so well. So well, to the point where only one person voted for her at the round table, and it wasn't Mark, who was like, I think it might be Claire. I think it's Claire. I'm certain it's Claire. So I feel like Claire's done a good job of convincing Mark that it isn't her. And this is where we get a little bit techie, because Kate asked Chloe for her thoughts, and Chloe just went, I don't want to say anything. And I was like, what? I don't think you have the luxury of just being like, I don't want to talk about anything. I just don't want to speak, is what she said. I was like, what? I've never seen this on this show before. What happened here? What is going on in this here place? What is happening? Oh my goodness, yeah, honestly, bit of a crazy one. Bit of a crazy one, I gotta say. But that was the round table. It's time to get into voting time. So, Justine voted for Chloe. Claire voted for MK. Marielle voted for MK. Mark voted for Chloe. Midi voted for MK. Alex voted for MK. Paul voted for MK. Kate voted for MK. Cash voted for MK. Fiona voted for MK. Ethan voted for MK. Teresa voted for MK. MK voted for Olivia. Lewis voted for Claire. Angus voted for MK. Olivia for MK. Dirk for MK. Nigel for MK. Craig for MK. Matt for MK. And then this was where shit went down. Oh! Because it comes on to Chloe. Chloe's the final vote. MK's going home regardless. But she says the people who are the traitors are Cash, Marielle, Angus, Teresa. Those are the traitors. My vote is for Teresa, and I'm leaving now. And she just got up and left the table. And everyone was like, are you leaving the game, or are you leaving just the table? You're just leaving the room? She's like, I'm leaving the room. Has she gone? I actually don't know whether she's still in the game or not. But she threw those names out. And honestly, fuck is all I'm going to say. Because, yes, she got 2 of them wrong, but she got 2 of them right. And a 50% accuracy rate is a lot higher than I thought she'd have. And this is what I mean by, like, there's some things that she says where I'm like, was that a lucky guess? Or is there actually some kind of power that you possess? Because surely that should be impossible. Surely there's no way that you were right because of anything other than luck. Right? I don't know. Anyway, so MK was voted out. He was obviously faithful. Fat L for the faithful team. They've now lost 5 faithful. Have they lost 5 or have they lost 4? No, they've lost 4 and they're going to lose a 5th this evening. And this is what brings us to Traitors Tower. And Traitors Tower was interesting because they basically said, we're going to split up Ethan and Fiona. One of them's going home. One of them's dying. And I'm a bit worried because I like both of them. I think they're both quite sweet people. And I have a feeling they're going to go for, like, Fiona, like Fi, because she's a big personality. She's quite loud. And it will be a shock to the group to have her go. So, would be an interesting one. But that is all the time we have for today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. And I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. Probably Saturday or Sunday. I'll be honest. Probably Saturday or Sunday. But I hope you guys did enjoy. Keep on ranting. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. Do all that YouTube stuff that you guys do so well. And I'll see you guys later. Bye now.